we check everything like everywhere, so we'll answer. We're very easy.
We answer you. Yeah, we're very easy
Easy.
to contact.
It's easy to contact.
Hi guys, welcome to LoveCast, a boys love podcast. I'm your host Pixie, and with me are my co-hosts Alexa and Kayla.
Hello.
So today, before we get into our main topic, we are gonna go through some tea time. And one of the recent things that happened was that the fan meet for To My Star that was supposed to happen at a location was canceled due to the owner or the location, the people who rented it out, thought it was inappropriate. Was that the wording?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was basically boiled down to like, this content is not appropriate for our concert venue type thing. Which, you know, obviously we all kind of can deduce that is for some homophobic reasons there, because
I did see someone say that originally they thought it was because it was the amount of people that were coming to the fan meet, that it was like a COVID thing, like they couldn't have that many people in the venue. But that doesn't make sense because they already knew how many tickets they sold.
Exactly.
They had a limit, so why would they suddenly cancel it? And after
like hours before, or like it was like the day before the event was supposed to happen or something like that. Like you would have known how many people were coming to the event well beforehand.
And it's super sus that this has to happen like after they got the new president, who's not exactly known to be LGBTQ friendly. And it's very sus. The good news were that they managed to find a new venue and they managed to go through with it. But it was very, very obvious that this was very homophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it came out that venue is owned by a church.
Oof.
So
that explains it.
I think that by a Christian church, I think that tells you all you need to know.
It's just motives. Like, did they not realize when they agreed to rent out the venue, like what the content of the fan meet was for? Like, because why would you let it go on for this long and then suddenly decide like a day beforehand, like, oh God, this is too gay for our venue? Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe they just didn't do research on like the content of the show.
Either that or the people who actually like signed the contract with them or whatever knew that it was like a boys love thing, and the owners didn't know. So the
then
owners
it got to like the hires up
and like,
said something. Yeah,
that might be it.
That would make sense too.
Yeah, it's just. It's so surprising that in this day and age something like that can happen at all. And it just it makes me afraid of the future for South Korea and BL, because like with the new president and everything, it doesn't like breed a good ground for BL to blossom, because it will take, the country will be going several steps backwards now that you have like a homophobe in power.
Yeah, I mean, I said this you know, having some discussions with like other creators and stuff when this news first came out. It was very similar when Trump first got elected here, which, you know, I've seen some like Korean news outlets and stuff that have said like Korean media have basically compared this president that they just elected to Donald Trump. And it's like, when you have someone in power who is very open and vocal about their bigotry, then it just gives people who have maybe been quieter in their bigotry up until now a reason to be loud and open about it. So, you know, maybe this venue, like, all along was not happy about hosting a fan meet for Korean BL, and then you know this happens and suddenly they feel like, okay, we can be vocal about this and we have the support of the person in power, so we don't necessarily have to worry about the backlash that the public might give us for that. So unfortunately, I feel like they're probably going to see a lot more stuff like that happening, because it's still happening here, even though Trump is not in power anymore. Like, you know, these people have been given that platform, so they still feel the need to use it in that way. So I don't know.
Yeah, you get like you sort of like gather people under a cause, and suddenly like a cause like homophobia and whatever is okay, apparently, because so many people are thinking the same way, and it's just it's so bad, and it just shows how dangerous it is to have people like that in power. And I did hear about like for the voting part, like there were stories that there were like Korean men standing outside the polls trying to scare away the women from voting, because the women were not
gonna vote for this candidate. Yeah,
so that's scary, but so that's what happened. I think like we just need to be very vocal about supporting the BL that happens in South Korea, and just show like if you support it with money, like capitalism, it's gonna force its way into normal society and become normalized, sort of thing. Like I see that's the only like solution sort of to what can we do, right? So
I think that, and just like listen to whether it be like Korean BL, like Koreans who are BL fans, or just Korean people in general who are, you know, bringing up like, this is what you can do to show your support for the community or the media scene, the production scene, whatever they need, just like listening to those voices too as well, and supporting in whatever ways they ask. But I think, you know, getting that support and being vocal about that support is going to be very important over the next few years, as like outsiders who are enjoying Korean media in any form, whether that be BL or K-pop or K-dramas, you know, like just supporting the actual people that are in Korea as well is going to be very important.
Yep, definitely. Yes. So today we are doing our first episode in our BL one-on-one episodes. And this one is about what is boys love and where to find it. It's a very Harry Potter title. I love it. Yeah, so this is for people who are new to BL, or even if you've been in the BL realm for a while, if you're not like really in the community and talking to a lot of different people, you might not know all of this, so it might be useful to you too.
Yeah, I think we get a lot of questions since we started the podcast, and we start talking to people like, where can I find this? You know, what's the best place to like, where do you watch this show? Like, where do you guys connect with people? And, you know, asking questions about like where to find things and how to find things. So especially this one is kind of just going to be addressing like the basics of that as a BL fan, but like this whole like BL 101 series overall is kind of just going to be like answering those questions for people that they have, and kind of like giving them a place where they can come to hopefully find some useful information about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because like we are veterans basically in the BL space. We've all been.
It sounds so weird to put it like that.
Right.
I'm a veteran.
But we've all been in the fandom spaces for a really long time, and we've all like been really interested in what's happening, and we've like collectively we have a lot of information amongst us from different points of views.
Like
so
together we make up one whole brain.
Yes. We are like the most knowledgeable BL podcast out there, period. Together. Okay, so definition of boys love. The definition from Vicky is that yaoi, also known by the Western term boys love and its abbreviation BL, is a genre of fictional media originated in Japan that features homoerotic relationships between male characters. It is typically created by women for women and is distinct from homoerotic media marketed to gay men, but it does also attract a male audience and can be produced by male creators.
Yeah. So I, when I was like looking up the definition, like, well, first I started for like searching for boys love definition, you know, how you do when you're searching for stuff in Google. And it was actually really hard. Like, no official sites were coming up for things. Like, I found Urban Dictionary. I found like this website that was like supposed to be like web, like internet speak dictionary from an academic point of view. And like all of these like individual sites, but like it wasn't like, it was hard for me. I had to do like a couple different searches before I actually got the term to come up under yaoi as opposed to boys love. So I just thought it was interesting to point out that it is still kind of hard to find like a formal definition of boys love on the internet.
Yeah, I have a theory for that. I have a theory that that's because it's a space mostly comprised of women and it's not seen as important enough that it's like defined properly in a man's world.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot.
You know
I think
what? Probably.
it took a long time for like the term K-pop and stuff like that to show up in official dictionaries. Like I mean, I've been a K-pop fan for like 7 or 8 years now, and you know, it's just only in like recent years that like dictionaries have started updating their like catalogs, I guess, is that the word, to include like K-pop and like Hallyu and like terms like that. So and K-pop is like a lot bigger compared to BL, so I think definitely probably comes from some misogynistic point of view, but also I think it is still like a niche fandom to some degree. So a lot of the definitions out there are mostly done by fans, but I do think that is a lot of what can lead to people not knowing how to define what BL is because there's so many different fan definitions floating out there.
So the simple background story here is that boys love originated from Japan. It started out with creators doing like mangas and light novels and stuff like that. And yaoi was a term and is still a term used for more explicit content. Like if you search yaoi mangas, you're gonna get 18 plus content. That's just how it is. But the term for the more fluff with the non-sex in it is shonen ai. But recently Japan has also started using the term boys love to encompass all of it, like shonen ai and yaoi into one is boys love. So you see the term used in Japan as well.
Yeah, I think,
but it was a Western term, really. But I know a lot of old school Western boys love fans still use the term yaoi and shonen ai. I do think a lot of people misconstrued yaoi as like a blanket term for BL and call things yaoi even though it's not explicit. Which causes a lot of confusion from old-time fans. I just have to say.
Yeah, I think that like the fact that the term boys love is kind of starting to be used more in places like Japan and Thailand, where, you know, a lot of the times if they're referring to BL in Thailand, they'll call it Series Y because that was more of like their traditional term for it. But now you see
and
people there using
from yaoi as well.
Yeah, because Series Y. Y is yaoi. But like the fact that you see these places starting to use like the term boys love or BL more is definitely speaking to like the globalization of BL and the Western terms, which there is something to be said about like the Western terms taking over as the more popular terms compared to like the native terms that use for it. But
it's a very interesting fact that boys love is for Westerner is a category for Asian dramas or manga or whatever, because in Western countries you don't have boys love dramas being made. It's queer media. It's LGBTQ. It's not boys love.
Yeah.
And you can, like, some people will call Young Royals, Scum, Love Victor, all of these BLs, but they're not. They are inherently LGBTQ.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that because, like, one of the questions we had on our notes to think about is, like, how would you explain boys love to a local? And, like, I was thinking about, like, when I talk to my friends or the people I know in real life about, like, what this podcast is about or, like, the type of media I like to watch, I will typically say it's LGBTQ Asian dramas or Asian media. Like, mainly because like a lot of my friends and family already know that I'm into like K-pop and K-drama, so like they already know that I'm involved in like Western media, but putting the term LGBTQ on it as opposed to trying to explain to them like BL and how that's different from like LGBTQ media, like I feel like it's just so much easier for me to describe it as LGBTQ media, even though like obviously this podcast is specifically a BL podcast,
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, I have difficulties doing that because I feel I get a lot of weird looks if I'm gonna say that I watch LGBTQ media, and they're gonna look at me like, yeah, you're straight, why? And I'm just like,
yeah, I think being gay helps with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gay, so I can just say I'm watching gay
That's true.
media, and it works.
I mean, people look at me so weirdly. It's like it's like if a straight man says he's watched like lesbian porn, like you get that kind of reaction from people, and I'm just like, it's a romance. It's just romance. It's not some fetish thing. It's just a genre. I'm just watching a genre. No, it's so hard.
Pixie's boyfriend, who apparently thinks we're always talking about like porn when we're doing this podcast.
He won't believe me when I say that. Like we talk a lot of fluff. It's not we're not that dirty, okay? I'm not that dirty. He doesn't believe me at all. Oh my god. Well, I've tried to explain to locals what boys love is and what this podcast is. And what I usually say is that I watch a lot of Asian media, and some of it is boys love, meaning two men in a romantic relationship. And it's usually made by women for women. I throw that in there. I know it's like, you need to go into like a long explanation why women like that, but I don't do that. But I just like, okay, I've at least given them some information. If they want to know anymore, they need to Google it themselves, because I'm not gonna stand there and explain it.
Explain the whole history.
Yeah.
But it's very awkward. It is. It's like you live in a world where it's just, it's seen as everything LGBTQ is seen as other. It's seen as something different, something you're the black sheep for watching it, or like, especially if you're straight, like, why are you even in that? Like, why are you a part of that community if you're not like part of that community?
Part of the community.
It's like, it's very hard for people to understand why you support or watch something that's not like directly relate to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like, no one will say the same thing to me when I'm watching like a straight drama, and no one's like, oh, you're a bisexual, so why are you watching these two straight people kissing?
Yeah.
Like, what? The double standard is always there.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time it's not worth explaining to people.
Yeah.
If it's someone I don't like want to bother explaining it to, I'm just like, yeah, I watch Asian shows. And that's
go real
like
blanket
you'll
term.
get stares for that too, by the way. So like
Yeah.
that's hard enough to explain. I'm just like, oh, the xenophobia is real.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the time when people ask you what like BL is or like what kind of shows you're watching, also they say it in a kind of condescending way, like they're already on the offensive to make fun of whatever you're about to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't even talk to my family about it. I've gotten so many like stupid comments, and I'm just like, yeah,
It's not even worth it. Yeah.
Nope.
It's unfortunate.
Yes, but that's why we like have this community, and that's why this podcast is so important to me, and just like having the Discord and interacting with people on TikTok, Twitter, and everything. It's a way to like get your be able to talk about the things you like without being judged for it, and it's so important for everyone to do that. Like, you need a community.
Agreed.
And if I feel like that as a straight person, I can't imagine what like gay kids or LGBTQ feel.
Hello?
Just sorry, my mind stopped for a second there. I need to like, okay, back on track. So, fan service is a huge part of BL.
Yep.
And there's differing views on how useful it is.
Yeah.
I mean, for some of us, fan service, if the actors are okay with it, is just like a fun thing. It can be entertaining, but like we like to joke about it and play into it, but it's not real for us.
Yeah.
And it will never be. Like, no matter what you see online of fans saying someone's dating or screaming about like kissing and touching and whatever, none of it is real. And even if it was real, it's none of our business. So just enjoy the fan service for what it is. It's a service for fans. It's nothing more.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things when you're first entering the BL community that can maybe kind of catch you off guard. I mean, I think if you're coming from something like K-pop or something like that, where you're used to seeing certain fan service and, you know, idols going out of their way to kind of blatantly make like ships happen and stuff like that, maybe not as stark, but like the level is very different when you come from like K-pop, where you might see like your two idols like making a little heart together, to like BL where they're like making out with each other fan meets. Like the level is very different, and so I think that's why a lot of people can, you know, join the fandom and kind of just like get caught up in the fantasy of it, and not, it's hard, it can be hard to distinguish what's real and what's not. So I think that's something that we always want to make note of, like, especially if you're new in the fandom, just to like enjoy the fantasy of it and not get too caught up in trying to decipher, like, is this real? Is this a real romantic moment? And, you know, are they doing this because of X, Y, and Z? Because like Pixie said, even if they are, at the end of the day, it's like not really our business. So I think, you know, we should just enjoy it for the fact that it's something they're doing for the fans, for the sake of work and for the sake of their show, and like not read too much more into it.
Yeah, I mean, and fan service basically just exists to create hype for a series or for the couple involved. So really, at the end of the day, it's just a business transaction. If you want to put it in simplest terms.
Yeah, and these actors know that the more they perform, the more money they will earn for the show, for merch, for fans, whatever. So it's very calculated and it's very well used. for those who don't know like what fan service is, very easy. Like it's basically any type of skinship or words or anything that like show to them dating.
Yeah.
Or being a thing.
Yeah, it's like any type of acts that the actors will do kind of to promote the show and the relationship within the show. But a lot of the times they'll take those actions outside of the show and do them in real life as a form of basically, like Kayla said, promotion and like a business transaction. It's all to kind of sell the ship, basically.
Yeah. As an example, there was when Tharntype was going on, there was a lot of talk about how Mew and Golf often wouldn't stop making out when the director said cut. They were so into it that they wouldn't stop. Like that whole narrative is fan service. Yeah. The clips that came out from Tharntype, this series. They released it. They were talking about it. It was like an interview thing. Like it came from the producers and the team behind the series.
Yeah.
And Mew and Golf. So it was very calculated and very obvious. And like it's a nice fantasy, but there... Yeah.
It's a fantasy at the end of the day.
Yeah. And sometimes you just like kissing. Like, no shame.
That's it. You just like kissing.
Sometimes you just want to kiss the homie.
Yeah. Gross. Just some bro kissing. That's hot. Okay, so what countries are producing BL? One of the largest one is obviously Thailand. Japan, like, we're talking live action BL now, not manga and anime, because that's mainly Japan. But live action, the biggest producer is Thailand. You have Japan, which does have a large industry for it, but not a lot of it gets translated.
International attention.
Yeah. So Japan is very closed off. So it's very recently we even got some shows translated and put on international channels. Before you had to like go through fan subbers and stuff. And yeah. And South Korea has some, and they're very recent as well, but they're more and more coming. Let's see what happens with the new president. Philippines had a big boom and then just cut off.
Yep. Exactly.
Like literally everyone was making BLs. Everyone. Like there were amazing ones and there were really, really bad ones. And it just cut off.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
Nothing's come out.
Nothing that like there's I feel like there's still a lot of like the lower budget ones, but nothing being promoted.
Do not come here with Rainbow Prince. Heather just typed Rainbow Prince. Dude, that is not like no.
Pixie used the mom voice on you. She said no.
Do not. We are not talking about that, okay? And there's also Taiwan and China. Taiwan has barely had anything, and lately at least, and those we've had haven't been the greatest.
We've had some gems, but last year's
Weebus Love was great. At least season 1. But like after that it sort of like fell off. And I know some people enjoyed the ones that came out. I just it's fine. And China, like there's been high censoring in China the last year. We haven't had anything for a while, and I bet there's not gonna be for a while. They are really cracking down on anything that is remotely feminine in China.
Yeah.
Especially if it's men acting feminine. Like music, TV shows,
idols,
like even gaming, like they've cracked down on everything.
Yeah. And even before they had this recent crackdown, like their censoring was still a lot heavier. So a lot of the stuff that we would put into the BL category was more of like bromance, because they are not like allowed to show that explicit like LGBT romance on television. So it fell more into like the
you had to go into like danmeis, which are the novels written, and they are pretty explicit. Like the Chinese women do not hold back. I'm telling you, you need to understand trigger warnings if you're gonna read one of those, because there's a lot of explicit, not just sex. I'm not going to go into detail, everything. But just be aware. But a lot of it is coming on the Western market now, getting translated. I know, like, what's it called? Seven Stars
or Seven Seas Media, something like that.
Yeah, they are translating a lot of the danmeis that are popular. So you can check that out if you want to. But we're not going to get any bromances anytime soon. Just saying. We were waiting for some, but
immortality is still... There's still people out there waiting for immortality to come out, I feel like.
I told you guys like months ago that it's not going to happen. It's gone. It's not coming.
Everyone's just grasping at the crumbs that pop up every once in a while. Such is the life.
Yeah.
Was it the episode
if you want to know more about
Avenue X where she was talking about how like one series was about to get released and then like a BL series, and then they just decided to cancel it,
pull it off completely. Yep. Yep, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Even with like het series in China, because their censorship is like so heavy, but it will just like disappear. If we're gonna
get any Chinese one, it will be mainland China web series.
Yeah, if they release it like not within
get through.
Yeah.
Who are the main production companies for each country? Thailand, you have GMM TV, and they release on YouTube all of their shows, so that's great. But they do have like they have grown. I'll just say that, but they have a lot of controversies connected to them, which they don't comment on. So they're a little bit sus, but they're the biggest one. And you have Wabi Sabi,
Domandi,
Domandi's come, and the Me Mindy.
Oh, Me Mind, Me Mind Why? Me Mindy, Me Mind Why?
Yeah. I call it Me Mindy.
It's like memes. All of memes shows come from there. Me Mindy.
D Hub House.
D Hub House is getting on the scene.
They're becoming big.
Let's see.
Yeah, but
Nadao?
Like
kind
Nadao
of
too. Yeah. Like the biggest one for BL is GMM TV. If you like, they push out the most of BLs and with the highest quality overall.
In terms of production, at least.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
They do have a lot of great
quality
actors.
Yeah. But they have.
There's some unfortunate jokes and stuff in their work. Like, I don't even want to call it unfortunate because it's like downright like horrible. Some of the stuff they put into their series.
You get away with a lot.
That you'll never see them talk about it because they won't acknowledge anything. In Japan, you have Kadokawa, I think is one of the biggest one.
I'm not familiar with like
Coco TV, I think also does. Like Japan is very strange because there's a lot like there's not like they don't have the same system as Thailand, and there's a lot of companies like producing a lot of different things, so you don't necessarily connect BL
like one
to a
specific company to BL, right?
Yeah. South Korea.
You have like Idol Romance does a lot of them. W Story has done a lot of them.
Strongberry
Strongberry, yeah, they do a
but
lot
it's
of
a little
the
more LGBTQ. Like it's
yeah,
not. You wouldn't call it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Strongberry's like more indie, on the indie side, like indie queer films and shorts and stuff like that. Watcha Korea just did Semantic Error. But I feel like
Which was
Idol
amazing.
Romance, yeah. I feel like Idol Romance and W Story are the ones that I think have most of the KBLs under their belts. And then there's like some smaller production houses that have come up with a few here and there.
Yeah. And in the Philippines, you have the ID First company that does Game Boys, or did Game Boys, will do more Game Boys. But other than that, like you have Oxen Films, but we're not talking about Oxen Films because you should just like not get anywhere close to them because that's a controversy in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did write Ticket to Me, but I don't know if they're just the distribution company or their production.
I'm not. I think they
were
do
highly connected to Boys Lockdown, but I don't know.
I think they are involved
really
like in the production aspect of it. They might be like the biggest like sponsor related to it. But I mean, I know a lot of the contact for the show and everything went through Ticket to Me. So I had them in mind too when I was trying to think about like companies in the Philippines. But the Philippines is one like where we kind of mentioned before, where you'll have a lot of very underground like production companies and kind of like one-off series coming from just like random people, indie production companies, like really, really small production houses and stuff like that. So it's like a lot, when it was coming out, it was a lot of content coming from a lot of like mainly not known production houses.
And 70% of it was shit. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, I gotta agree with that. There were definitely a lot that hopped on the bandwagon, which we saw that with like every country, but it was really hardcore in the Philippines. And just like knowing that they're not producing anything now, I mean, that kind of shows you that most of these companies hopped on the bandwagon and then dipped.
It's very like, okay, that was like a capitalistic move kind of thing. Like they were, and I mean, it would have worked a couple of years ago that people would be so desperate for any BLs, but with the amount of BLs we've had recently, like people are looking for quality over quantity. So, yeah. Okay, Taiwan and China. I don't really know like any specific companies from there.
I know Choco TV is the one in Taiwan that has done all of the history series.
Okay.
But that's the only one I can think of that would really be like, I don't even know if it's a well-known production house, but like a production house like tied to releasing BLs, because obviously the history series is like the most popular BL thing to come out of Taiwan, I feel like, and Choco TV is the production house behind them. So that was the only one I could think of that I would tie specifically to Japan, or not Japan, Taiwan.
Taiwan, yeah. And the most popular, well-known shows for each place, like Thailand, I would say Together is like the most
definitely
popular. Maybe like Tharn Type second. But definitely Together. It started like
hands down
the pandemic. Japan, for international fans, I would say Cherry Magic. Yeah. Definitely. It was enough fluff that like, and it was well done fluff, so everyone kind of just jumped on it. And it was one of the first one that got like real coverage for Westerners from proper channels. Like it wasn't a fan sub. It started as a fan sub, but
then it got picked up. And I feel like that kind of set the tone for shows like Keita Hatsukoi to get picked up by international releases as well.
South Korea, I think, is a really difficult one, to be honest, because they've had like the same amount of hype most of the shows. I do think like I would say either Light on Me or Semantic Error is like the biggest ones.
Yeah, I think Semantic Error has definitely solidified a place at the top of that list, but I think Light on Me before that, and I would also maybe put Where Your Eyes Linger up there just because it was the first one, so a lot of people probably know that title, but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot more people talking about Light on Me, and I know it's on the top list of my drama list as the most highest rated one. So, Philippines,
Game Boys.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe Gaia Saw Pellicula, at least as for international fans. I think that one's more well known, but like hands down, Game Boys is like.
Yeah, Hello Stranger kind of got a lot of hype in the beginning too, but I think it died off.
Yeah, there were some stuff with Tony and the main.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
A lot of controversies.
Yeah, in Taiwan, the biggest ones there is any like history.
Yeah, I think specifically History 3 is probably the like Trapped and Make Our Days Count are probably the two biggest, but the whole History series is like very popular.
Yeah, and people loved it until the 4th.
Well, they're still making more, so maybe they'll redeem themselves.
In China, I would say the Untamed is the most popular, but hands down. Like they did a really good job with the name of it just slipped my mind. The newest, or not the newest,
Word of Honor.
Word of Honor, yeah. That was really good and really popular, but it's not gonna beat the Untamed. The Untamed has like this insane fandom to it. Like it's insane. I knew about the Untamed before I knew about BL live dramas at all. Like it was like the first thing I heard about on K-pop Twitter.
I know a lot of people who were not previously watching BL who are like K-drama or Chinese drama fans who watched the Untamed and just like loved it.
Yeah, it was a little long to me. Like I can't do like Chinese dramas because they are so long. I do not have the time, and because I have to read subtitles. It's too, like I need to focus on the subtitles, so I can't do other stuff when watching, so it just doesn't, I can't do it. If you're gonna settle down with the Chinese drama, you need to like make time for it.
They're all a time commitment.
Their release schedule is insane. They release like one episode
4 episodes
every
a week.
Day.
Yeah.
Oh my
that's
god.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. And it's just bromances too. Like you're not gonna get a kiss or even a touch. It's a little bit sad. I'm sorry, but it's a little bit sad. Okay, so where can you find BL? TV series. You can find, if you don't have any money, you can find a lot on YouTube. But there are some that are illegally uploaded to YouTube. Do not watch those. You can find the actual legal versions. It's often for free. So there's YouTube on the official channels for the production company, like GMM TV, Beyond Cloud. I don't think they're gonna. Wabi Sabi. All of these companies do have their YouTube channels.
I feel like WeTV is probably the biggest like paid platform where now that Line TV is extinct,
gone. Yeah,
I feel like WeTV is probably the biggest paid platform for BL, but I think it can really vary.
VPN for most of
it can be confusing because like there's some where they're behind a VIP paywall, but you don't need VPN. And there's some where you need a VPN, but they're not behind a paywall. And there's some where there's both. So it's like can get confusing.
Yeah. So WeTV with a VPN works really well. But now a lot of shows have like upped their BL category on Viki. So Viki.com has a lot of K-dramas and Chinese and Asian dramas in general, but they have been importing a lot of BL into it. Thai BLs,
they do a lot of the Korean BLs.
Korean BLs. I checked recently and they've gotten a lot, like Why Are You is on there.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of the stuff that got kicked off one line is now on Viki.
Yeah. So that's a great place now. And the subtitles get uploaded right away now.
Sometimes. I feel like it still kind of varies. Sometimes people are still waiting. I guess it depends on the team, but like for Semantic Error, I think they were like right away.
It was instant.
For like some of the other KBLs, like people would still be waiting for like a day or two before they upload it.
It's been a while since I've seen some that take a long time too. So, but I might just not have been watching a lot recently. You have like IQ,
IG, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's IG.
Yeah, I think it's more.
It's a Chinese based. It's mainly for. It has a lot of Chinese dramas housed on there, but they have some. They started housing some BL. Like I know Gen Y is on there, and that's where Kin Porsche is going to be on. So I'm sure a lot of people will be subscribing for that.
Yeah, and which one is the Thai one where you need like a Thai?
AIS Play.
AIS Play, yeah. Yeah, I hate that one. You need a Thai working phone number to register for it. So if any BLs goes on there, we don't catch them at all.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
I think Netflix has grabbed the rights for some BLs, but they don't really do them as they're airing. I feel like it's more like they'll pick up the rights for them after the fact. Like Sodas, I don't know if it's still on there, but Sodas was on there for a while, and The Untamed is on there. So like they'll pick up rights for a lot of the stuff after it finishes airing. Game Boys is on there. It depends on which
country you're in, honestly. But if you have a VPN, you can pretty much get, like, if you put your VPN to Thailand, like they're all there.
Yeah.
They're all there.
Yeah.
But I don't think like the subtitles are added for all of them.
Yeah.
But I did hear that Netflix is doing like a KBL. Like original Netflix KBL.
They're really getting in on the K-drama scene, so that doesn't surprise me. Like Netflix
is coming out, so
true.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like those are probably the same platforms where you can find a lot of BL movies too. Like they'll probably be on all those platforms that we just listed.
Yeah, I don't think like there's anywhere you could watch a movie other than the ones we mentioned.
If you can watch a show on there, you can probably find movies
on it.
Yeah.
I just like, if you're gonna watch BL, do not go to Drama Cool. I see a lot of people using Drama Cool. It's illegal. It's not supporting the show. It's not supporting the actors. It's not supporting anything. You're basically just throwing away that view, which is important for the industry to grow. So you should focus. Like I've seen people watch drama, like talk about they watch things on Drama Cool. That's free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just go watch
why?
YouTube.
Just go watch the official upload.
Oh yeah, Crunchyroll has some shows as well. Like
Cherry Magic.
Cherry Magic was on Crunchyroll, and Given was on Crunchyroll.
They have some of the BL anime too, like Sasaki and Miyano, which is airing right now. Yuri on Ice, you can probably find on there still, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Webtoons, you have isn't like there's a page that's literally called
it's
Webtoons.
Called Webtoons. Yeah. there's Webtoon, there's Tappy Tunes, there's Manta Webtoons is one. Those are the ones that I use the most that I can think of, or like Lezen or Legend, whatever it's called. Lenzen.
Yeah, I know which one. Yeah, LEZ. Yeah.
Lezen.
HIN.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Lezen.
Yeah, LZHIN, Lezen. Something like that. We don't know how to pronounce things, but they have a lot.
Yeah, so, and manhwa and manga, there are 1,000 like official pages. You can get those. They are all over the place. You can get subscription sites for manga and manhwas, and you can get non-subscription, like you have for the subscription sites, you can go on Renta. And
Futekia is one.
Futekia, and there's something with a cat, Curious Cat, or something like that. That's they hire like freelance translators for their mangas. So it's all like, it's real stuff. It's not the illegal stuff. So you can actually really easily find yaoi and shonen ai manga manhwas on proper channels right now.
And if you want like physical copies, a lot of like big bookstore lines like Barnes and Noble, stuff like that, like if you have like an online bookstore that you typically go to, a lot of them carry like manga and manhwa as well, so you can get physical copies if you like to have the like physical translation.
Yeah, I mean, support your local bookstores. Don't buy from Amazon and stuff like that, because
you don't like Amazon.
Yeah,
you don't like Jeff Bezos here.
Your local bookstore can get any book. Just ask for it and they can order it. So rather do that instead of using Amazon, because Amazon is bad. Also, Heather reminded us, Gaga Ulala also do a lot of BL series now. They do have a lot of shows that we wouldn't have accessed otherwise if they hadn't picked it up. So
True.
So that's good. So, and they have a lot of queer media, a lot of good queer media.
A lot of indie media, queer media.
So with all the new acquisitions they've gotten to the server, Gaga Ulala is pretty worth the subscription for it.
Yeah, it's getting up there.
Yeah. Novels, Meb.
Oh, yeah, they have a lot of the Thai BL novels.
Novels, you need to go to MEB, Meb. If you search English, just search English, you'll get all the English translated BLs up there. Basically, they're not a lot, but some. And Kindle does have some. Other than that, I think like you need to either buy them at your local bookstore or at publishers' sites, or pretty much some authors let fans translate on
Wattpad.
Yeah.
But it's only a select few. And most of the translations you'll see on there are not with the permission of the author. So keep that in mind if you're going to Wattpad. I would check like on the author's page first and see, and then go from there. Yeah,
usually the ones who ask for permission actually put that in their
with permission from XXX
page. Yeah. So you can actually check if it's legit or not. There's a lot of illegal translation, so you should like.
And usually you can tell like based on the quality of the translation. But if someone like just threw it through Google Translate and uploaded it or something.
Yeah, and I would like strongly recommend anyone, if you see a translator or fan subber or someone that runs a Patreon for their fan subs, do not give them the money. Like, usually it's very sus. They don't have the permission to do that. And yeah, subbing does take a lot of work, but it's not their job, and the author did not ask them to do it. So it's not in their right to take money to do it.
Take money from actual translators.
Who
are translating for the series officially.
Yes. So do not support these people. It's not like no one owes them anything for the translations they did. They decided to do that by themselves.
Yeah. Most of them already have like official translations out there that you could easily find, sometimes without even having to pay for them. So like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And paying some fan subber for their work is not like, it's not helping the original author, it's not helping the industry, it's not helping anything other than the fan subber getting money in their pocket.
True.
If you're gonna fan sub something, it's for free. That's how fan subbing works. And sometimes that's even illegal, so don't.
Tread lightly.
If you expect to get money from it, just don't do it. Like, it's not that hard. Okay,
yeah,
so
I mean,
what are... Yeah,
it's
go
like
ahead.
Alexa said, how so many things these days already have English sub teams, or like semantic error, they're automatically like subbed when they go up. So there aren't really any big series that will not get subbed and need fans to jump in and do it anymore.
No.
I mean, like, it says, like, I get it, not everyone has the money to pay for like subscription services, but like if you're gonna pay a fan subber, then what difference does it make then?
Like, if you're gonna pay a fan subber either way, why aren't you just giving the money to the actual people who made this? Oh, it's so weird.
It's weird, yeah. And like a lot of the times, like we were talking about, like the Japanese shows that relied on fan subs, they're doing it for free. I've never, like when I was watching Cherry Magic and Kaita Hatsukoi before they got picked up on official platforms, no one asked for money. All they asked is just don't steal the subs, and people did that anyways, which is like why fan subbers don't keep up doing work, because subs end up on sites like Drama Cool, and like no one likes their work to be stolen like that. Yeah.
Do not use Drama Cool.
End rant.
End rant. So what are the top 5 BLs we would recommend for a new BL watcher? Like, obviously, our number one top
collective
that we all agree on is Until We Meet Again, with trigger warning.
Yeah,
it gets a little bit heavy very early on, so if you have some kind of triggers, I do know that on YouTube they do have a trigger warning now.
They didn't have it originally, but they added it in.
They didn't.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like if you're looking for an emotional story with good acting, they have a soft couple, they have a spicier couple, there's some comedic elements, like they just have it all. Heather is attempting to spell the word trauma
She's failing
in the chat right now.
Laugh through the trauma. Yeah. I mean, Until We Meet Again does have everything, and it does have like there's a couple there that you're gonna enjoy. Either you're gonna enjoy the soft one or the kinky one. I don't know how to
the spicier one.
We'll see how Between Us goes, and then we'll call it that, depending on the content.
Well, they are pretty kinky, and if you read a novel, you know. If you've read the novel, you know. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna say any more than that. Oh my god. Okay, so we agree Until We Meet Again. Which other ones?
I would say Bad Buddy.
One? Oh yeah. Bad Buddy.
That we didn't mention before. I would say Bad Buddy. I think it's newer, but it's had like a huge impact on people, and it's just really fun and easy to watch. So if you're looking for something like lighter to jump into with really strong chemistry, then I would say Bad Buddy is a good place to start.
Yeah, that is a good one. I know we mentioned History Trapped before, but I think that's another good recommendation. If you want to watch something that is more adult, but still has like BL elements and is still like comedic, but the storyline is very good, the characters are well written, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Trapped is always a suggestion.
Agreed.
Pixie.
And I do feel like everyone in the BL community should watch Game Boys.
Yes,
I think so too.
Yes, agreed. It's just like so different because of the way it was filmed and the height of the pandemic with the whole, I mean, we've seen like het shows or like romantic relationships take place like through the computer screen type thing, but like this was just so well done and like
I didn't expect I would enjoy it when I started watching it. And it was at a time where there wasn't a lot of BLs coming out, so I just watched it anyways, and it was so good. Like, I did not expect to enjoy it. Like, watching how they filmed it, I didn't think I would think it was good, but it was so good.
It was like a product of that time period where COVID was really ramping up. Yeah. And they somehow executed it perfectly, but also really managed to make it like not too far off from the reality of what was going on at the time.
Yeah. I would say on the KBL front, since we already mentioned Semantic Error as one we would see as more popular, I feel like one that we would all probably recommend, Pixie especially, is To My Star. It's just like, again, like they have a certain like maturity and chemistry to the romance that kind of sets it apart, I think, from a lot of the other Korean BLs. And there's a second season coming soon, so there's going to be more content to look forward to.
Yeah, and I think if you come from like a K-pop space and really enjoy that, you're gonna like enjoy like the plot of it with it being like a singer
celebrity, celebrity ex-chef romance.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really good.
How many was that? Was that 5?
Yeah, I think it's more than 5 actually.
I can't count. I wasn't counting as we were saying them.
Well, I think like we should probably put like a Japanese in there since we've done like every other.
True. I don't know.
Like if we want to throw something is like... obviously the most obvious one.
Yeah. I was gonna say that or Keita Hatsukoi if you want something that's like more cute and lighthearted.
Yeah.
Heavy on the
or
fluff.
My Beautiful Man if you want something that's not cute,
and lighthearted. The opposite of cute and lighthearted.
On one side of the spectrum.
It has to be one or the other.
That's how Japan's BLs go. It's like either the softest, sweetest, fluffiest romance you've ever seen, or like the darkest, kinkiest, most like sex-driven story that you've ever seen. That's Japan's BL media, pretty much.
Yeah. There's nothing more to say there. Like, obviously, So it just depends on you as a person. If you like the fluff, Kieta Hatsukoi, and if you like more of like a good toxic story, it's My Beautiful Man. And always, if you want some recommendations, feel free to ask. You can ask us in the comment section on our videos, or send us a message on Twitter, or tag us on Twitter, tag us anywhere. We'll answer.
We have recommendations.
We check everything, like, everywhere. So we'll answer. We're very easy.
Answer you. We're very easy.
To contact.
It's easy to contact.
No. We're just very easy.
Oh, Lord.
What are some of our favorite things about the BL genre, and what are some of our least favorite things?
Ooh.
So, I feel like my big thing that I love about the BL fandom is all the fan engagement. So, like, anytime a new episode drops, I can go right to Twitter and be like, oh my gosh, everyone is talking about this same thing that I'm really interested in. You get to see memes, you get to see, like, people's thoughts on what's going on in the series. So, I feel like that is the thing that I love the most about the BL fandom, is just getting to interact with other fans.
I agree.
Yeah. I think for me, within the media itself, I do you know, as much as like a lot of the times I gravitate towards like really emotional and like heavier dramas, I think I do appreciate the fantasy element of just like being able to watch a drama that exists in a world where like this person's story of their like gay romance isn't always like revolving around coming out or, you know, dealing with homophobic parents, although they do have that element. A lot of BLs exist in a world where these things are just kind of accepted, and it's nice to kind of get that escape from reality and like be able to enjoy those aspects of it sometimes.
I really enjoy like the world that BL opened up for me. Like it was content that really has shown me a lot of cultures and just gathered like a whole world into it. Like Kayla was saying with the fandoms and stuff, like there's so many different people and there's so much discussion going on, some good, some bad, but like some hot takes, some not so hot takes. But it's just very nice to have like a community that you feel safe in, and the part about like being more comfortable with other people's culture, like places that I would maybe see as very foreign, it doesn't feel foreign to me anymore. And I feel like I've grown a lot as a person, and more easily can respect other people's culture instead of judging it from what I've heard.
Yeah, I feel like another thing that is like specifically about a BL content is that I feel like a lot of the stories that are told in BL are closer to my experience as a queer person than, say, like LGBTQ plus media I've watched in the past. So like a lot of the stuff, even if it's like super fantastical or whatever or idealized, I just relate to it so much more. And I don't know if that's just like the way that the story is being told and how BL focuses so much on like the romance as opposed to like everything else. But I always feel the most like comfortable and almost like safe watching BL dramas.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same as like a straight woman watching BL. It's kind of like what I'm watching is safe for me. Like it's a fancy world where I don't feel like intimidated or scared of the men, if you know what I mean. So it's a lot. It's a much more safer place for me to like watch.
Yeah.
I can explain it completely, but it does. I always feel a lot safer watching BL.
Yeah. There is like this like what is the term I'm looking for? But a lot of like Western like general television media, a lot of like movie fans and television fans have this like distinction between like men written by men and men that are written by women. And since so many BLs are written by women, I just feel like you can see that in the way that the men are written in the show. Like, of course, there's bad guys and people that suck in the series, but I think men that are written by women, like you can just tell when a man is written by a woman versus when a man is written by a man. And I think that makes media enjoyable for a lot of people who don't like watching like traditionally written by men in their shows.
Yeah. I think that's actually a big part of it, is that you can just tell when something was written by a woman or when a male character specifically was written by a woman.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's very weird, but I think it's the main thing that draws women to BL to begin with, if they're straight or gay or whatever. Like, it's one of the reasons why they enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree.
Least favorite thing. I have to say my least favorite thing is the constant fan speculations Like genuine fan speculation. Like they are genuinely thinking this about those actors. Like I hate it. I genuinely hate that people are so invested in these actors' personal lives, sexualities, whatever, to like invade their privacy on such a deep level.
Yeah, I think the lack of boundary is a big one for me too. And it's not everywhere, but there is this like certain level of entitledness that a lot of fans have to like know things that aren't necessarily their right to know.
Money on you. I'm entitled to your life.
And that goes into like K-pop and other fandom spheres that I'm involved in too. But I think that the lack of boundary and the lack of respect for a lot of the times, like the people you're saying that you're fans of, can be really hard to deal with without like, I don't know, like wanting to blow up at people and be like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like on the other side of fan engagement. That's the thing that I don't like, is whenever people get into that delusional territory where they're convinced that the actors are a real couple, and then they feel very possessive over them as people.
Yeah.
To the two sides of fandom engagement. Other people or the actors themselves. Yeah, that and all like the product placement for like skin whitening and the filters on the BLs,
diet teas, and
skin.
Yeah, the industry itself still has definitely some issues that are not always enjoyable to watch in the media.
Yeah, definitely. Like we've talked about this stuff before, so if anyone wants to hear us like get down into the gritty mess of it all, check out our other episodes. So, where can you find official BL merch?
I feel like the easiest place that is where you can find stuff as an international fan, Thai CD is probably the biggest one. They will basically like do the pre-orders like as the companies or whatever do them, and like order basically the product in bulk and then ship it out. And I think a lot of the times it does tend to be cheaper than ordering directly from like the official sites. And also like not all BL merch at this point does make stuff and accessible to order internationally. So a lot of the times they will have those products. A lot of the times they will have those products that might not necessarily be open for us on the official like websites and such.
Yeah. I know that probably longer than a year ago, 2 years ago or something, you had to like go on, get the line app and order through like a message, sending a message to the company and PayPal.
Some still do that. Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass, and if you don't get your order, you're screwed. Which happened to me, by the way.
Your original Kin Porsche merch.
Yeah, no, that's another story. That's a completely other story. That was actually bought through a website, but this was Wabi Sabi, I think. I think it was Until We Meet Again. The package with DVDs and
the box set.
Yeah, and I happened to like move in that period, and I didn't get like to change the address, and I never got like anything from them. It was a whole mess.
Sad.
So I basically lost that money, but yeah.
So, I think there's also for but some products will do like people will set up group orders like for individual countries, which kind of like they will order in bulk and then ship out to the individual people that ordered within the group order, which can sometimes help with shipping costs as well. So that's another avenue to consider if, the shipping costs, depending on where you are, can get pretty insane. So that's another avenue to consider as well.
Yeah. But then you need to make sure you're in a community, BL community with people from your
trusted.
country.
Yeah.
You trust.
Yeah, most of them will specify that they're doing it like within the country, like this is the US group order, this is the Philippines group order, but you just have to make sure you know when you're like joining it that like I'm joining the group order for the correct country that I live in type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you can get like merch from Etsy shops and Redbubble. And stuff like that. They like
art,
fan-made stickers,
fan art,
and the cards, and So, and there's a lot of great fan-made stuff too. So it's absolutely worth like just checking out. We do also have a merch shop. LoveCastPodcast.com. We have some stickers, sweatshirts, t-shirts, tote bags, everything. Like, and we will restock it with new designs soon, hopefully. So definitely check that out.
Of course. Gotta get that promo in.
And so some of the companies also, like in Thailand, have their own merch shops, like GMTV shop, and Me Mindy does have their own shop. I know I got my
don't say no necklace.
I love how it was just there, ready.
I should probably like do a giveaway for this. I can't like even open it.
Stay tuned. This might be a future giveaway on the podcast if you want the Don't Say No necklace.
And I have my that way. Dragon.
Mungui, mine is on my bed. The lovely writer dragon.
From E-Tai CD. It's very easy.
I did that one through the lovely writer like site directly. It was not. Seriously? It was not easy.
Oh,
it was not a good time.
I think I got mine before you, and I ordered it after. That's so funny. Yeah, I ordered directly from the Cutie Pie. Lions? Are they lions?
Yeah, I think they're lions.
Yeah, those two I ordered directly from the Cutie Pie link, but that's E-Tai CD as well.
Yeah, they worked with E-Tai CD for that, which was nice.
Yes. Okay, so where can you find BL fan communities? All over the place, honestly. There's like, I feel like the BL community is very, very spread out. You have Twitter, you have Instagram, Facebook groups, and you have Tumblr, Reddit. Does have,
there's a pretty big BL community. They have a subreddit. They have some like subreddits, like there's one that's specifically for Thai BL and all that kind of stuff, but they do have like an r/boys love Reddit, which is pretty big.
Yeah. And there is a community on my drama list. I would not recommend joining it at all. It's very toxic.
If you this is my warning for new BL fans. If this is your first form of Asian media that you are embarking on, do not get involved with my drama list. Just don't. Like, I use it to manage my shows and like manage my watch list, but like there was a period of time where I really wanted to be like involved in like the community and the forums and the comments in my drama list, and like it's bad. Just like save yourself from that drama. Don't try and get involved with my drama list community.
Yeah, I mean, even arguing with these people will only give you headaches. It's not worth
yourself.
The takes are terrible, and
my drama list is where all the bad takes go to die.
Yeah. That being said, there are a lot of, since we kind of mentioned it, BL Discord servers. Obviously we have one. We have one for the podcast where it's open to the public, but we also have Patreon exclusive channels. But there are a lot of just like general BL Discord servers out there. Like that's how me and Pixie met. If you search, like, you know, there's Discord like lists that kind of keep track of all the servers. If you search BL, you'll probably find a bunch that pop up of varying degrees of sizes, and some are focused on specific forms of BL and stuff like that. So I think Discord is becoming a huge like place for communities to kind of congregate. So there's a lot of BL Discords out there now. Our link is down in the description if you want to join ours.
But there are some really fun ones. And I mean, even if you join one server and don't like it, you should try different ones, because like
all of them have different vibes.
Yeah, you kind of need to find your space. It's and there are like really good people out there. So just try it out and see what you find.
Yeah.
Like us. Like our server is like the best server.
It's a great little, it's not super big, but you have a cute little community going on there.
Yeah.
We do watch parties, we do some simping, we share our pets, like we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on there. It's really fun.
And the most important thing
cool
for us
people.
is it's a safe place for you to have opinions. As long as it's respectful towards other, you can have your own opinion, and no one will harass you for it.
Yes.
So, yes.
That's what matters.
Yes. Are there any other fan communities that we haven't said? Like TikTok does like...
Yeah, TikTok, there's a lot
community.
Of like BL is very like big on TikTok, but I don't like I don't know if I consider TikTok like a community that like you get them.
Yeah.
I mean, we've met a lot of cool creators from TikTok, but like if you're just someone who like kind of passively watches TikToks, I don't know if you'll find like, I mean, you might be able to find like creators that you like and find their communities like subsequently. So like maybe that in that way it can be a community, but yeah, YouTube is kind of the same way. Like you can find creators that you like and kind of get involved.
Right? So
if you get involved with like the creators community,
can join that community, but it's not like for a fan. It's really hard to like keep up like a community thing there.
Yeah, it's more like getting involved with other communities, and maybe that will like, I don't know if you want to be involved with like a specific reactor, like obviously you're going to find their community through YouTube and then whatever other avenues they have. But yeah, I don't know, like if you're just there to like, it's kind of different than like, it functions differently than like a forum or like Twitter and like other forms of social media kind of.
Yeah. And the same with people's patrons. Like you have creators who have their patrons, and you'll find like a small community there for that creator that will maybe be useful. I don't know. But like if you wanna, I would recommend using Discord or Reddit. If you like Reddit is great. There's a lot of discussions. It's moderated, so you don't get a lot of like toxicity from it. So that's great. Like Discord is for more like, it becomes more personal, I think. Reddit, like you're just writing a post, you're not really having like one sentence discussions like you can do in Discord. So but yeah
you know,
so and we want to know from you guys what you guys want us to focus on in our BL 101 series. So if you want to hear us talk about directors or social media, BL jokes, BL terms, favorite actors, controversies, like let us know what you're curious about, and we will put that into our rotation. We do like have a list of
some plans. So we're really excited about like a new little series to kind of share with you guys, and also like I feel like we're probably going to be learning as we go, like doing research into this stuff, so it's educational and fun for everyone. But we will be like, specifically with this podcast series within the podcast, using the hashtag #LearnWithLoveCast. So if you want to tweet us your ideas or tweet your commentary and reaction to the episode or whatever, like use that hashtag with us, as well as our LoveCast BL podcast hashtag, and we'll be able to find all of your commentary on the episodes and as the series goes on, like what you guys are liking and what you want to see from us and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. We're getting our promo in today.
Seriously.
Awesome. Okay, that's all we have, right? You guys have anything else to add, Kayla?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, guys. So that's it for our episode this week. Whether you're new to Boys Love or are an older fan who wanted some more information about BL, we're so glad you could join us for this week's episode. Please let us know what BL 101 topic you'd like us to cover next. You can find us on social media at LoveCast Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and follow us on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and share this episode with your BL-loving friends. And if you listen to this episode, you know we have a merch shop. You can find it at lovecastthepodcast.com. We have, as said earlier, hoodies, stickers, shirts, and tote bags, everything. It's nice. And finally, if you'd like to support the podcast and help us to continue creating and releasing episodes, you can join our Patreon, where you... that transition there is a little bit... where you'll receive exclusive access to extra content like Kayla's reaction videos, my audio chapters, Alexa's character analysis post, behind-the-scene clips from interviews, podcast recordings that didn't make it into the final episode, and lots more. Thanks again for joining us this week. We want to know your thoughts on this topic, so don't forget to jump into the LoveCast Discord server or share your thoughts with us in the comments below. So until next time, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It was fun talking about like the start of BL. Like it feels like reminiscing about like the olden days, like the veterans we are.
Yeah.